There you go. I swear to God, the moment that tells you're gonna kick it out right back in that fucking weed whacker. You're making this as awkward as possible.
Okay. Oh, welcome to Commander's Lounge, guys.
Fucking awkward. Yeah, welcome to Commander's Lounge.
Ow, I hurt my elbow.
This is Shaggy. I'm Scooby.
Oh man, my elbow hurts.
Funny enough, beyond the comedy that just fucking happened, we are going to talk about cheating.
Yes, cheating. Ooh, and there's several ways. Hopefully we'll try to cover the most of them. Hopefully all of them. That'd be great.
Technically under the table, right?
Just like that. Give me a high five. Give me a high five. All right. So the first thing of cheating. Let's see. We got some Papa Hershey. We got some
notes.
Dish. We got notes. Why? Because if we don't have notes, plus we're sober, this should help us do a video correctly for once.
Okay, being sober.
Now we notice when we drink, the videos kind of go here, there, and not there.
We get off subject really quickly, from time to time. But
All right,
we get back on it though.
So back on the subject anyway. All right. So the first thing is, I think I'll cover, and this one is a personal thing I really hate, and it is people trying to play cards from exile, or not really play, but mix them back into their graveyard. So this is a personal thing I watch all the time people do. Card, let's say this card gets exiled for whatever reason. They put it sideways like this, face up in their graveyard, so now the rare cards are in their, this is the exile card, this is the rare card in the graveyard, and they put it face up like this. Big problem with it, guys, and I see it all the time, is all they gotta do, someone's not paying attention, rotate it, guess what? It's in the graveyard. And unless you remember, or anybody remembers that's supposed to be exiled, it's not part of the graveyard. And we know how many decks that use cards in graveyard.
Yeah, and then they'll play Monster Reborn or some shit like that, and voila.
That's
I got my Chimera Tech Over Dragon out, yeah.
Alright, so...
Is that you? Yeah, it is.
That is. So the way I have developed, and I learned this from other games, instead of going like this, you turn it upside down and your graveyard goes like this. So it's still sideways, it's still identified easily, it's out of play, but since it's upside down, they go like this, it's still upside down.
So it makes it more noticeable, so they have to actually look,
They have to like
flip
pick
it,
the card up and flip it, yeah.
and then play Monster Reborn.
Yeah. Now, this isn't required by Magic the Gathering Wizard Coast, which they really need to get on the case and do that, because this is a very common cheat, especially in Commander. And flipping it face down should be a requirement. People don't do that. I usually, in a game where I know it can make a big difference, I'll try to tell them, hey, can you move it off to the side at least? So I can identify easier. Especially if they have like 10, 15 cards removed, you're not going to notice if just one gets put back face up.
Especially it's just probably during the end game too. Like they needed that card to get the win, so
they just go boop.
Would you look at that?
Yeah, and the other card's still maybe removed. So you still see a stack of cards removed. You just don't know that one card they needed got unremoved, and
you
now
know
they can use it.
Hey, I'm just gonna check out my graveyard real quick, and there you go, and it's back in the game now. There you go. I just wanted to see what's my graveyard.
Yep. Or they'll put something in the graveyard right when they put it back. They'll put the graveyard at a tilt, and then they'll go to fix the tilt. When they look at their graveyard. Look at that right there. What I just did was, I'll show y'all. This is my deck. Let me look at my deck, and they kind of mess up the out of play a little bit, so it's kind of shuffled a little bit now, like this, a little off the center.
Yeah.
They put their deck like this. And then, I need to look at my, their graveyard. They'll put I need to look at my graveyard again.
Yeah, just in case.
Just in case. And now, since it's already tilted, just a little bit, they can grab that top card, and you'll never know the difference unless you're watching.
Like, okay, God, I see it, bro. I see it.
It really sucks because the way it currently is with just sideways with your deck, your graveyard like this is. You have to constantly watch it and constantly keep track. And there's a lot of cards that get removed, even decks that it happens to them, they do it to themselves or other people do it. It takes so much concentration. You won't be able to concentrate on your own game. So easy to cheat with this.
Or
so easy.
And they'll distract too. And this is another thing they'll do when they're distracting you. You probably don't notice. Even the graveyard too is that when they're talking, the distraction, Draw an extra card.
Or get a card from the graveyard.
Oh yeah, good card. No, but they'll
Yeah.
draw an extra card,
Yeah.
or all of a sudden it'll be like during the end of the game, like, well, you won't be able to count the mana. You won't even like, well, why do you have 10 mana on the field?
Well, let's
'Cause-
keep on the drawing part. Let's keep on the drawing.
Okay.
One thing at a time, because you missed one drawing. Another one they really, really do. And I'll show it from an angle here. When they draw a card, you'll see them. Normally they have like a normal draw. It's kind of slow, but all of a sudden they'll draw real quick. They'll be like, okay, I got this, real quick. What they just did is they grabbed 2 cards off the top and drew it quick, because you cannot keep. Because there will be a little edge, but you won't be able to see that because they're going so quick. And once it's in their hand, what they'll do then is, let's say I have a hand of 2 cards or 5 cards. I'll draw those 2 real quick and put my hand together like this. So now I put my hand together this. You don't know how many cards I drew. Then I can fold them out.
And the classic little.
Yeah, and now you won't know that I had drawn an extra card, because once those 2 cards went to my hand, the entire hand went together.
Mm-hmm. And it is usually, it's not from the front because that's way too noticeable. It's usually they'll draw from the side like that.
Side.
Because look at that, I just drew it right now.
The really good ones can do it straight from the back real quick.
And ta-da, 2.
Yeah. This is also, certain sleeves let this happen easier and easier. Sleeves that are very, very slippery, not unmatte backs, in other words.
Okay, yeah, I know what you
unmatte backs are easier to do it with because they slide so quickly. They can actually move this easy and draw at the same time. Excessive, because it's just slippery. There's no resistance. On matte backs, there's a little resistance, so you'll see a little bit of it if you're keeping a hard eye. Again, you're not going to really keep eyes like this unless you start noticing someone has too many cards in hand and they're not doing any draw effects.
Yeah. Like I said, it's probably going to happen during the end game. They'll definitely get caught during the beginning of the game. Definitely.
But yeah, it's going to be middle in game, or they're about to go off for the game and they just need like 1 card, or they need any 1 card just to have the right cards in hand or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then so it's like, it's their win. Like, okay, I got it. That's all I needed.
Is that a bloody bubble? That's what's fucking hitting me like that.
Yeah.
Goddamn little
Okay.
lizard or roach or something.
So what's the
Sorry.
next one?
The next one was the one I was actually going to go with.
Yeah,
also
go.
the land drops. Like
Land drops.
during towards the end of the game, you'll notice they already have like this much like land, right? All of a sudden, well, they have an extra land. You don't know because you're not keeping count towards the end of the game, and all of a sudden, they needed exactly 8 mana to actually go up in the combo.
Yeah.
And you notice like, well, 2 turns ago they didn't have that.
Yeah. So there's different ways of doing it. The first one, which I've noticed a lot of, at least our regionals where we have new players, what they'll do is, let's say they have 5 mana already out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What they'll do is, it's time to play a land. They'll be looking at their hand, and they'll put 2 cards so you can't see them together like this. Play them down, tap them immediately, and they'll still count those 2 as only 1 for this turn. But they'll tap immediately, try to keep the lands together as possible, so it's kind of hard to tell how many in the stack of those lands there is. Play the card. Next turn, when it comes time to untap the land, they go ahead and move that extra card out because it's already been there. So you wouldn't have noticed. You had to catch them last turn putting it out.
And this is all they'll do this too. Like, let's just say it's all green, right? And they'll be like, okay, I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there you go. I tap 5, and then all of a sudden, well, now I have 7. How the fuck that happened?
Yeah. So one way they do that is, you'll see them. They're holding their hand while they count these cards out. 1, 2, 3, and they'll just put 1 straight from the hand in that count.
Okay, yeah, and you'd be like, okay, well, no problem. I can just do this and play that now. Mm-hmm.
Yes, that is. That one's not as common. So you gotta be pretty quick-handed on that one.
I gotta shuffle my deck.
Right.
I'm drawing nothing but shit.
Another one you'll see is, then this one kind of happens on accident a lot. I know it's happened to me where I've done it, and it wasn't a purposeful cheat, but it did happen, was someone gets up in the middle of the game, goes uses the restroom. Or someone takes a really long turn and everybody kind of zones out. And so then I'll ask, is it my turn? Because I've zoned out, or I had to use the restroom, or someone else had to use the restroom.
I usually just too drunk.
So some people have been skipped. So I'll play a land. So now I have an additional land turn, because I've had an additional turn in total that I shouldn't have had yet. So I will actually have more lands out in the field than I should, just because I've had an additional turn. And again, it's not on purpose, but some people will do it on purpose. And it's usually the person taking a really, really long turn. they will
Oh, okay, we know those.
their turn, and then when it goes to the next person, they'll ask, "Go, hey, is it my turn?" Or someone uses the bathroom. They'll do the same kind of thing.
Yeah, like whose turn is it? Whose turn is it?
Yeah. They've purposely made it hard for everybody to pay attention. It's kind of like distracting. I mean, it is a distraction, but they're purposely making you don't want to pay attention, so they can either just play straight additional land, which they usually go, "Hey, have I played a land yet this turn?"
Oh,
which,
yeah.
Which I've forgotten before.
I've done that too. I'm
but,
like, wait, did I do this?
But
turn?
some people will play a lot of cards or tap a lot of stuff, and then they'll go, "Hey, did I play?" And they'll ask out loud, "Have I played another land per turn?" A lot of us will forget, but sometimes they will take advantage knowing people forget.
Yeah.
And they'll do that because the first thing they did was to play land. They've done all this extra stuff. Now they go, "Oh, I need another land." Yeah, I played a land per turn.
There you go.
Oh, I didn't? Okay, now I'll play one. Yeah,
I'll play my land for my turn.
Yeah. And you're just like, you've already done that. Again, the only way to really catch this, guys, is to pay attention because you need to catch it when it happens. Because if it's a turn 2 or later, too much stuff has gone by to really catch it. Yes, you can make them put that land back in hand if you can prove it, but everything else has already happened. You can't undo all that.
Oh, yeah.
So,
but it is a common thing for that to happen, though.
Yeah. I mean, I've plenty of times have asked and legitimately meant, whose turn is it? Is it mine? I know I've caught myself before, actually, where I played a land at the beginning of a turn. I played a bunch of stuff, then people interrupted. So it was like a 5-minute turn. And then I have so many land cards in hand, I'm like, have I played a land? And I'll ask, honestly, everybody goes, no, you haven't. I'll play a land, and then on someone else's turn, because I'm still going in my head.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out, I go, hey guys, I played 2 lands last turn, I'm going to take a land back. If I can catch myself, I will take it back. If I catch, which I've had before, too, is I've played something out, and I technically didn't have the mana because of that accident. I'll go, hey guys, I also need to take this back because it didn't affect the game.
Yeah.
And I'll play, like, if my commander's available play, I'll just put my commander out to something visual you've already seen.
Okay,
so everybody has fair results to it. I'll play that out. My mana always stays tapped even if my mana costs less.
Yeah.
I'll still keep all that mana tapped because I had tapped it. I take the fault of what I've done, but I'm at least going to replace it with something.
You man up, bro.
Yeah. But yeah,
a lot of people don't do that, by the way. A lot of people don't do that.
They
don't.
Like,
and I can get away with it.
Yeah, and a lot of people, I think that is another cheat, is people find out they've messed up, and they don't announce it. Either, hey, I accidentally drew another card, or like I said, I accidentally played another land. They don't man up to it because they're afraid to be called a cheater, or they're like, hey, this will give me the chance to kind of win. I get
and they don't even know that they did. You can see it sometimes. Seeing they're like, and they'll keep going off the combo. Yeah, see, I stutter way too much when I'm sober. I'm like,
right? But
anyways, they'll just keep going off, and you'll never know because you didn't catch that at the time. And also,
I think that kind of brings up another way of cheating.
Oh, how was that, sir?
Another way of cheating is you'll see someone play, and they usually have long turns, but they'll like play. Let's say I tap a land, and I play this, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that, and I untap land, and then I tap the land and play this, and then I go, oh, no, I don't want to do this, and they keep retaking back things. And the reason they do this is they'll usually start just keeping all the lands tapped and say, I'll play, oh, no, I don't want to play this. And what they're doing is they're confusing you. So you don't know how much mana has actually been spent on stuff, so they can play 6 mana worth of cards and only have 4 or 5 mana, but it's hard for you to tell because they're going through a combo and they've untapped so much, so you don't know what they've tapped for what.
Yeah, you lose track.
Yeah, and that's a real big thing people love to do. It's why, like, when I start seeing people go, I tell them, slow down.
Yeah.
Let's go through each effect. I need to make sure I also have dice out in case we're producing mana. Like, okay, you got 2 greens in your floating. You got 1 blue floating. Now you use this, it takes that away. Oh, look, you didn't have that extra blue you needed to play that.
Didn't that happen last month that I technically should have won?
I think it was a game I was watching. Yeah, a guy. And
he's like, okay, I'll go off and bam.
Yeah, he had an infinite combo with that Drake that, he puts it on and gets return it back. Thing is, he didn't have enough blue mana. It was blue mana. He only had 1 left. He spent it. It went onto the field, and he got to return. But the part of the combo, he had to play another card that would cost the blue mana right after it.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't have had enough to play the Drake again for the second, because he would produce 1 more blue mana when that Drake hit the field.
Yeah.
So he was off by a blue mana, but he was going so quick and he was untapping
he was
stuff.
Going, okay, I'm going to do this. Okay, I'm going to special summon this.
And he goes, oh, wait, I wasn't supposed to do it this way.
Wait, give me a second. then I'm gonna do this, and then like, dude,
Yeah.
come on.
It was a purpose. I say it was purposeful.
Well, because
He may have just been overexcited. People do get overexcited because they're really excited about playing the combo.
maybe that was his first win.
Yeah, first time he's gotten to play the combo. Or I like the one we had very common at one of the other locals we go to. This is what this person is known for. That's all they ever do. They just get overexcited. And the thing is, I know the person has some, I wouldn't call it special needs, but he definitely has some kind of disorder that causes this, but he knows it at the same time, so he kind of takes advantage of it, which is kind of dirty, I think, but it is a disability. So anytime he's playing, I try to call him out on it. When we have gone to that specific locals, which isn't one we go to very often anymore, I haven't seen him anymore. I don't know if people started calling him out more and more or what, but he just hasn't been coming. Maybe it's due to COVID, don't know, but
That stuff is nasty.
he's stopped playing Magic at those locals. So again, I think I knew he definitely knew what he was doing. He was taking advantage of that kind of stuff, which is something you kind of got to watch out for. That's another way people cheat.
God, that was totally in sync. It was perfect. I love it.
Right?
We didn't even plan that out, guys.
So what's another one here?
Oh, speaking of when it comes to the combos,
yes,
I just go with it because it's also cheating too.
Mm.
When they expect you to know what the card does.
Yes, expecting.
And they're like, okay, we should already know what it does. Like, this always happens to me because I do not know a lot of cards. So when people be like, I play Despero, everyone's like, oh, I'm like, so what does it do? You don't know what it does? No, and they'll fucking ignore you.
Yeah.
It's good to ask to know what a card does
Yeah.
at all times. Plus, it also will slow them down so you can catch them better and do something else.
And according to the actual rules of playing Magic, if someone asks you what a card does, you do have to notify them what it does. You also cannot hide cards. By hide cards, I mean you'll see this every once in a while. People like to let's just say I have these two creatures. They will like to kind of put the two creatures over. So yeah, you can see the name, but you can't see the effect. So they're hiding the effect from you. Yes, it is up to you to kind of ask, hey, what does that card do? But they're doing it on purpose to kind of slide off.
Yeah.
Good judges I've known and go, no, they were purposely covering it to do that. You get to take back your play because they were hiding the play. But a lot of judges I know go, nope, you should have asked. Which, yes, they are right, but
it's kind of an asshole,
purpose.
right?
It's a purpose thing they do. It's kind of like with the Arbor. The land that's a card, Arbor Elf, I think. It's not Arbor Elf, but
Oh, I know what you're talking about. The land creature?
the land creature. It's a 1/1.
But
there's a separate print of it that looks like completely like a normal land, except it's 1/1. It doesn't have any written words in the flavor text area. People play that on purpose to hide it because they just heard them. I play a forest or I play a land. That's just what they usually say. I play a land, and they wouldn't tell you what it is, and it's way back in your back area.
Yeah.
It looks like a freaking forest. You go to attack and like I block with this. Like, when the heck did that come out?
Because I just played a forest.
Yeah, and I will tell you, I understand at least like Commander and a 101, they're dirty playing. They aren't good people. They're purposely trying to deceive you. But on Commander, I kind of get it. 'Cause you got 4 people. They have to read every single card. That's a lot. So it is kind of up to you to kind of know some cards. And if they say it once, you should try to remember it as best as can. But guess what? We're people. We are going to forget what some stuff does.
Especially after,
There's thousands of Magic cards. We're not going to memorize it all. So, yeah, there is going to be need to ask, hey, like, what does Beast Whisperer do? Oh, whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card.
Hey, can you tell me what that fog does, though?
Yeah, fog. No creature deals damage in combat this turn.
I fucking love that.
So,
it's a fuck you. It's a random fuck you.
So, yeah, you need to make it obvious, but also check to make sure your opponents are making it obvious. If they're trying to cover cards up, and yes, sometimes they try to do it for space, but if it's, they're going off and it really makes for a play you're about to do, check the board, because people will cover stuff up on purpose so you don't recognize they have a capability. And after you played a card, depending what kind of a pod you're in or play group you're in, they may or may not let you take that back. And if you're in a competition one for some kind of prize, they won't let you take it back.
Oh, they'll start.
You're screwed.
Just straight.
You've played it. And which really sucks because you were technically misled. And a purpose misled, a judge can't tell you, no, that's got to be taken back. There's a penalty for doing this, which is taking the play back or whatever. But a judge could also say, no, you played it too bad. You should have asked. So that's one way, and it is cheating, but at the same time, it can be considered an illegal move. It's dirty, but I still put that as cheating. That's a personal. I don't know about you. You still put that as cheating?
I'll take that as like a small little fuck you on this one, really,
Yeah.
because it will happen. And when it comes to, like you said, in the pod, you can ask the question and they'll tell you everything. And then when next turn, it's his turn, you forget what the hell that does because you're not focusing on something else. You'll blank out.
Yeah,
and then like, what does that land do? Fuck.
Right. So yeah, that's another thing. Just keep your eyes up. People will cover what effects do. They'll try not to tell you on purpose. On that though, there's another interesting one. I just remember this.
Oh, which one?
Very, very interesting. There will be people, you've seen them play all the time, but every time someone is playing a card, they ask every card effect out there. And the reason they're doing it is they're distracting from what they're doing.
Oh, so you tell me what the...
Yeah, they'll ask every time you play a single card. Obviously, they know what the heck it does, but they're asking because it's taking instructions. Because anytime someone's describing what a card does, everybody's focusing their attention on that person describing the card. So now it leaves that other person to cheat, whatever type of cheating they want to do.
Extra lands.
Yeah.
Oh shit, those are lands. Awesome.
Another thing they do that for, and it's not cheating, but they do it for, is to make someone else a target instead of them.
Oh,
they have to read every card, but when it comes to them, they won't read their cards off.
They'll just be like, okay, I play this, I play that, and the only thing they'll read off is the name. That's it.
Yeah. They're either cheating or they're trying to make everybody else a target so they can go off. So I'd say keep your eye on them either way, because either they're cheating on you,
and they won't even do politics.
Yeah, or they're doing one big politic is they're making everybody else read, but they're not reading their stuff. So you remember what everybody else's effects are and how dangerous they are, but you won't remember any of their stuff because they're not reading it off. Which that part isn't cheating, but it's kind of dirty playing.
Yeah, I'll take that dirty playing on that one. Yeah.
But that's legal. But I'm just saying, when someone starts doing that, keep your eye on it. That's what they're doing: cheating or playing some dirtiness.
I like them. It's just too deadest. Too deadest. Also, when it comes to it, I think another good one is sometimes during everything usually happens at the end of the game, doesn't it?
Mid to late, yeah.
I just realized the commander taxing. We caught people on that too. They'd be like, okay, I'll bring it up for the same amount. Like, is this like the fifth time?
Yeah.
And they'd be like, I don't. Like,
yeah.
You keep track of your own stuff. That's just get a quick little dice. That's all you need.
Yep. Put dice out. They should be putting it out themselves. If you're concerned, like you've caught someone cheating, doing this, start keeping track yourself. You have a spot for 4 different dice, and every time they need to play tax, you put a tick up on it. It means it's 2 times whatever that tick is on your dice.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, I just zoned out.
Yeah, it's fine. But
see, that's how it happens, and all of a sudden, I don't know what he fucking just played. And I was just reading.
But
I was reading the card.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of times, especially with their combos, like they keep playing the commander in one turn, or they do it like every turn. They will miss 1 or 2 taxes on purpose because they just don't have the mana. If they don't have the mana, their deck can't do anything. And it happens frequently enough. Their commander's coming out, you won't notice the taxers. You just notice them tapping all the lanes like, yeah, they just played a lot.
Oh shit, that guy's back out again?
Which actually, come to find out, they're missing 2-3 mana. But they paid 6 mana, so you're like, oh, yeah, they're paying a lot for a 2 mana cost commander. So yeah, they're paying their commander tax. No, they're actually only paying part of it. So keeping track of commander tax is a big thing because people will cheat.
Yeah, that's something to look out for too. Like, Jesus, I know I've probably done it once, maybe. I lost track.
I know I've lost track, and it's usually because I've had to die on it and I've knocked it off or something.
Yeah, my excuse is, and you guys seen it, I drink too much.
Yeah,
that's the way I'm gonna say it.
Right, but yeah, that's definitely one. Let's see. Slightly adjusting effects.
Okay. I wasn't about to actually say that one. Like,
I beat you to it.
Yeah, you luck of fucking. Like, when it comes to it, people be like, okay, well, no, they'll misread it on purpose. Like, oh, my creatures have haste. No, the card says, and that what also comes back to asking them what it does.
Yeah. So, like what he said, and it's one I've actually kind of seen, is like it says, give creatures haste. Or infect, even that. Give creatures infect. The thing is, it only affects the creatures that are currently on the board when that card's played. Well, they'll play another creature card afterwards, and still say that one, like say it had haste for some reason, and they attack with that creature too, and they say that one has infect. No, it doesn't. and they switched their effects. Now they're saying it doesn't matter when they play the creature; it always has effects. It's like, no, it's only when it's currently played. Another one is like you were saying with the haste.
Yeah.
All creatures have a haste. Well, you actually look at it and it says
Target creature.
Yeah, target creature gets haste, not all. But you're gonna read it from upside down view. You're gonna see haste on it, and you see creature. So you're not reading it, you're skimming.
Yeah.
And when I skim, you're like, oh, yeah, he's right.
Oh, that's an island, so hold on. Yeah, like, here it goes. That has text on it. And you have to read it from like that, like, huh?
Yeah. And so they can just switch one word in it. And if you're skim reading, you'll probably be agreeing to whatever it is, especially if it has a lot of words on it. You're like, yeah, okay, I skimmed it, I saw haste, creature, turn, till end of turn. So, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, I'm trying to find a card in here that has like, oh, here you go. Right there. Like, that has a lot of text in it. Small letters, so you just go, zzz. Okay, no problem.
Yeah. So, that is definitely something. Watch. And it does happen accidentally. Like, I know last night I had, I forget the name of everybody, but it was a creature that I'm supposed to show the top card of my deck at all times, and I can play a land from the top of my deck.
If you guys know what this card is, please let us know.
It's a creature. No, it's in the deck. I'm just too lazy to look for it. The thing is, I did it off memory. I played the card, and I pretty much remembered it because I also gain a life anytime I play a land. But I remembered it slightly incorrect, which was I remembered it as I get to look at the top card of my deck. There's so many cards that do that. And if it's a land card, I can play it. I can look at my top of my deck anytime. And if it's a land card, I get to play it from the top of my deck. But if it's not, it just stays on the deck face down. Well, no, it should have been face up the whole time.
Okay, so basically that.
Yeah. So that was my fault. It wasn't on purpose. Someone caught it. It actually made no difference in the game at all because all my cards were shit because I actually had the whole combo already sitting in my hand, so I really didn't care what the hell was happening in the deck. But yes, that can happen on accident or purpose. So, no, definitely, like you said, ask about those effects. You don't remember 100%, ask them.
Or if you just don't know what the card does.
Yeah, definitely.
Curiosity can stop people from time to time.
And I do agree with a lot of people going, no, you shouldn't do that because, I mean, I agree, but I understand.
Yeah.
It slows the game down. Yeah, it does slow the game down, but there's too many cards to remember. You got 4 to 6 players. Guess what? It's going to be a long game. You're not going to have a 10-minute game. All right? I have played with my top decks that can win by turn 3 decent amount of time against other top decks that can do turn 4s. And we've had 30-minute to an hour-long games because we're countering each other. All right? We're interrupting, we're countering, we're interacting. So guess what? It doesn't matter how good your deck or bad your deck is, you're probably going to have a decent long game. Minimal 30 minutes. Don't be surprised at a 2-hour game. Get used to it. It's Commando.
But those are the fun games, though. When it comes to 2 hours and you're like nonstop, like, oh no, fuck you, no, fuck me, and you get the fucking Ether Flux Reservoir out, and you're like, bring it. Who wants it?
Yeah,
it's the fun ones.
And those are fun, but some people don't like that. They like a quick game, so they will cheat to make those quick games happen.
Yeah. No, they need to learn the patience of a good game. Like yesterday was a fucking amazing good game.
It was. All right, so now the next ones, and I think these cheatings will be about cover the area of shufflings.
Oh yeah,
all right.
Looks like I've been doing all freaking this video.
Right. So I think you should do the first shuffling about how people do their own decks.
Yeah, and they'll talk to you and they'll look.
No, their own decks, not someone else's.
Okay, no, I'm doing my own deck.
Okay.
That's why I'm shuffling my own deck.
Okay.
And they'll be like, okay, well, you know what? I want this card on top. I want this card on top. I want that card on top. And they're shuffling, the pretend shuffling and stuff like that, and so all the good cards are on top. And then all of a sudden, they don't let no one cut their deck.
Yeah, and it could be the shuffling, like he's saying, or it can be preset up deck. But that's why you always cut someone's deck because
like right here,
right? It's somehow it's preset up, either shuffling or not.
Fucking kill you with this card, bro.
It's a horrible first hand.
Oh, what? No.
But another way they'll do it, and this is from more what he's saying, is more what your opponent will do, not yourself. Because usually you'll have a pre-set up deck if you're trying to do it. Is they'll have your deck, they're shuffling it, and you see this more in like Stan. I don't want your deck.
Can you shuffle my deck?
No, I don't want yours. Mine's cooler. It's
fuck off. You want
So what they'll do, and it's usually in 60-card games like Standard and whatnot, where a lot of it's more accepted that your opponent shuffles your deck for you.
Mm-hmm.
Is they'll be shuffling, talking, and there's some pretty famous ones on YouTube you can see. They're shuffling, talking, and they'll look every once in a while, take that slight look, and once they see a land, it goes on top of your deck, and the rest of the time they're shuffling, they never touch that top, ever. They keep shuffling, they keep doing that till they're satisfied with you having a mana drowning hand. So when you draw, you're going to have like 4 or 5 mana to hand. And you're just like, oh, or all mana to hand. Like, oh, okay, well, I'm screwed. Or let's say you just did a search. They'll automatically put and they're doing the shuffle.
Mm-hmm.
They'll automatically put a land because, yeah, it's mid-late game, but drawing top decking a land sucks and later in the games. And the best way you can catch them cheating is when they get done with the shuffle, they don't cut it. It should always be cut when it's handed back to you. Doesn't matter if they shuffled it or they're just supposed to cut it. They always needs to be a cut. So those top cards are not top anymore. However they cut it, you need to make sure those top cards were not cut. And it should be a simple half cut or a simple 3 cut. You watch that top card and you make sure it does not end up back on top. Those are acceptable. Anything else, they're cheating, guys. So yeah, just watch them. Do that to make sure they aren't cheating. It reduces it drastically. There is still a way they can cheat doing that, which is they'll put all your good cards on top, and then when it comes to cutting, so at least they know your good cards are like halfway through the deck.
Oh, yeah.
But that's a lot better than you drawing 5 freaking lands, 7 lands, opening hand. That sucks.
And then what? The next 3 turns, land.
Yeah.
Land.
Exactly.
That happened to me before. I think I almost teared up.
Yeah. So what's the best way of stopping this? We're saying about the cutting. I will say this. It doesn't matter what version you're playing.
Standard, Commander.
Especially Commander, because it's pretty common in Commander is your opponent just cuts it and that's it. Yes, there is ways to kind of stack your deck when someone does that only, but it's not going to guarantee you a perfect hand. Because you can kind of clog your deck with several different combos. And if they just cut it like that, whenever you start hitting a combo, you will get that combo in the next couple of draws, maybe even starting hand. But it's reduced that from happening versus them shuffling it, putting it all on top, and now you are only going to get lands. So you're trying to reduce cheating. And that's the best way is when it's handed back to you, it must be cut.
Or you can do the asshole cut, and there you go.
I wouldn't even do that. No.
The asshole cut.
No, you don't. Because if your opponent has stacked your top of your deck with 7 lands and they only put 2 on the bottom, you have 5 lands. No. Has to be a full cut. Full cut.
So not 75% right here? No, it has to be...
Yeah, a full cut will do it. Now, if they stack their deck and you're just cutting, you're not shuffling it, then, okay, that can be acceptable to do the 2. Hopefully you've just hit their combo if they're cheating.
Got it, hold on.
But smart ones will usually put the best of their combo pieces in the 6th, 7th, and 8th slot of the draw. In case people who do that do only a couple top cards.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. Full half cut just drastically reduces cheating of any type of shuffling, cutting, or stacking deck. Now, I do want to kind of point this, and it's not cheating, but a lot of people think it is. When it's actually deck shuffling properly, this is what you should be doing between each game. Separate all your lands, separate all your creatures, and I like to do separate just all others, but some people do like sorcery instant artifacts.
Okay.
And then you take all, I usually do in things of 4, I'll do 4 like that out, then I'll put 4 creatures on top, then I'll go with my 4 sorceries or instants on top, and I keep going like that. So I'm not actually deciding what's going, I'm just making sure everything is evenly put through.
Okay.
And then once I get done, I'll put them together. Then I'll shuffle, and I'll shuffle correctly. Then I'll have my opponent cut. So I have no clue what's happening, but what I have guaranteed is I have no clogging in my deck.
And there's also another way to do it too. You can have them face down and just...
Yeah, that's the exact same thing. The thing is, that can still have really bad clogs. This way, when you start your opening hand, you're almost guaranteed to have at least 2 to 3 lands in your opening hand.
And then I shuffle.
Yeah, that way you can still have clogs left and right. It's quicker.
Yeah, it's quicker, yeah.
That's much quicker, so if you need to do it quickly, that's the way. If you want to do it properly to make sure your deck is evenly separated, no congestion, which actually stops some kind of cheating, because you can't cheat if you can't stack it because you're evenly separating it. But yeah, that's not cheating. I've had some people, that's cheating. I was like, no, because I'm separating it all, but then I shuffle and you cut. So I have zero clue where anything is. I'm just making sure not all 30, 40 lands are stuck together. I'm making sure they're evenly put out. Because if your deck is evenly put out, you should have 2 to 3 lands, 2 to 3 creatures, and 2 to 3 others, which are instant sorceries, artifacts, things of those nature.
Enchantments.
Planeswalkers. But yeah, that would be your evenly combo. And of course you are going to get some clogging because it's just been shuffled and cut.
Okay.
But you're drastically reducing that so your deck can work properly. It's not stacking. Stacking is when you specifically find the cards you want,
Yes.
and then you put them straight on top of your deck, so you know exactly what you're drawing. That's stacking, people, and that's cheating.
Like, how the hell did I get Etherflux Reservoir in my hand the first turn?
Ba-ba!
Motherfuckers.
Okay, what else we got here? What else we got here?
I don't know. Check the notes. Check the notes. Okay.
We gotta check some notes.
We were done with that one.
Okay.
Oh, we can talk about that too.
Well, that'll be the next one.
That'll be the next one? Okay. So,
Shuffling, we got a card when they...
we do that. So we can check that also.
Yeah, we got...
Oh, there they are.
Yeah.
My pins. I think that's it for this video right now. I really do. Because we actually talked about a lot of good things.
Yeah, I think the only one would be... I haven't seen anybody do this, but since playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And other card games of that nature, I have seen people do this, is they'll have another deck or a binder sitting next to them that they like to go through during the game. They're trying to switch cards.
Oh, yeah.
They're trying to switch cards in and out. That one's real obvious. Another one they will do is they'll have their hand, like let's say their hand's right here, and they'll go underneath the table with their hand, and they'll go like this, like they're shuffling it. You'll even see them shuffle it up here. What they're actually doing is they're switching cards around down here. Never let your opponent put their hand below the table. It needs to be always visible. The cards need to be always visible.
Sluts.
Yeah, and that one I don't really see as much in Magic. I've caught a couple people doing that match, but it was mainly in Yu-Gi-Oh! I'd see it all the time. They'd be doing this, and then they'll go back under here and kind of act casual, and so you still think they're shuffling, so you see the same movement.
Oh, yeah.
But what they're actually doing is they got cards in their pocket, tucked in their belt,
It's
sitting on them.
It's usually the shirt. They have it tucked under the shirt, just like
Something, yeah, and they just switch it out, and it's the same sleeve, so they don't have to do much. They just got to go.
And if you've noticed, they never get up. Even when their game's over, they never move from that same spot.
Yeah. You'll usually see them go ahead and take their deck and just put it back down here when the game's over, and then they'll put their deck in there.
Oh, you're playing with that card? Okay, no problem.
Yeah. So yeah, the deck, all cards need to be visible at all times, never underneath, never behind something, never sitting on top of a binder or sitting on top of another deck box. These are ways they can access other cards. Another way too is they have a friend sitting next to them. The friend's like, "Let me see your hand," and they physically hand over their cards. Yeah, the friend could have a card down here, or you could already have a card like sitting right here, and whoop! Oh, there! Look at that! Boo-hoo! Boo-hoo!
Thank you.
Is that the right card? That was my card, you shit. Give me the damn card.
It's the blue one.
Red. Take your damn red. Another thing they will do is when a card's supposed to be thrown to the bottom of the deck. And this one, there is a YouTube, someone's seen this. I'd seen it a long time before this showed up on Magic. I saw it in Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot.
Ooh.
When a card got thrown to the bottom of the deck, they would then have to pick up their deck to shuffle it, and they leave that card there, and they have their hand sitting right next to it. So their hand's sitting here. That bottom card that was supposed to be put at the bottom of the deck is right there because they've lifted their deck up to shuffle it, search it, whatever. And then when they put their deck down, they put it away from this card and just scoop it with it into their hands. So now they've gotten that card that was put at the bottom.
Oh, wait, cut.
And guess what? Now they have that card right back. And in Magic, it's a little bit more useful than it was in a lot of other card games because some decks, especially in Standard, will only run one of cards. That's a big key that they search out.
Yeah.
But in mid-late game, it's really bad to have that under there because they've already used their search to get it. So if they can just go, look, that's my bottom card. No one knows it. Now I put my deck down there, and there goes part of my hand.
Or if they tutor, they'll be like, I can get this card.
Yes.
Or you know what? No. I'll get this one. No problem. Shuffle, 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 cut, cut, cut. All right. And it's the card I tutored. Ta-da.
They'll do certain things like that. Like, I mean, that's a really bad example, but
Oh,
they'll tutor.
the best I can do with them. Unless
They'll
they're
tutor
moment.
this, and they'll put it face down, real close to their hand, and they keep going. You know what? Maybe I don't. And they kind of cover a little bit, and they go. You know what? I think I'm gonna let me look at this, and then look at their hand, look at this, and then they actually return another card back into their deck, not the card they tutored. So now they get the card that they should have tutored in their hand, put some useless crap in their deck, but then go through and grab another card. So now they actually got 2 tutors off of it and got rid of a shitty card from their hand. It's a really easy, common one to do. While they're tutoring, their hand should not be touched. If they want to touch their hand, they need to put their deck away and the card they tutored away from their hand. Look at it. Okay. Put it back down. Go ahead and look at the card. Even if the tutor card's set, it needs to, if you can't see it, needs to be set away from the hand. Or graveyard, because some just want the shit in graveyard too.
Oh, yeah.
So
Keep an eye on their... Keep an eye.
Yeah. Because tutoring is a really easy way. Another type of tutoring they'll do is they'll tutor, and they'll go, oh, you know what? And they're going through, and they kind of squeeze 2 cards together and go, I'm going to tutor this. They'll hold the card. They won't set it down. And they'll put it into their hand. What they've actually done is 2 cards.
Oh.
Their hand has covered the capability of you seeing there's multiple cards there. That's why they won't put it down, so it can accidentally slip. And then they put it straight to their hand. Once it's in their hand and their hand is stacked like that, you won't be able to tell how many have just been added. So that's another way. So when someone does it, and they're like, hey, I want to grab this, you go, before they try to add it to the hand, go, wait, let me see that card. So they got to show it and then be like, no, put it down on the field, whatever. If you're expecting them to cheat, because once they put it down on the field, you can touch it real quick and move it, even though you're supposed to ask.
Yeah, even though you're supposed to ask. Sorry about the noise, everybody. Apparently people are getting out of school right now.
Yeah. So that's a way to catch them. They're trying to put 2 cards at once in hand. It's really hard to see, but once it's on the field, it's pretty obvious, especially because you can touch the card and move and be like, that's 2 cards.
Mm-hmm. No, that's some of the things that we can actually... We're trying to give you helpful hints about, too.
Right.
To catch them. And then humiliate them. Oh, wait, no, I want to say that.
Oh, no, but they definitely need... It needs to be known they're doing it on purpose. Now, I will say this. Some cheats happen on accident. So if they try to play it was an accident, go ahead and give them that break. But if it keeps happening...
The warning.
Yeah. If it keeps happening, you make sure they can't do it anymore. You notify wherever your game's being held at, hey this
judge.
person is cheating. Yeah, if it's a tournament, if it's... Or your locals that they frequently go to, you notify whoever's running the locals, and you start notifying the players. The reason is not to embarrass them. The reason is to make everybody aware of what they're doing so they can be careful and know to avoid them. Or if they have to play them, to watch them very carefully. And you can tell them what they're doing to cheat. So you can make sure to watch that specific thing. But, ha-ha, catch a cheat.
Yes, that 1 tutor, sir. 1 tutor.
Right. So that is a good way to definitely catch them, guys.
Basically, kick up your game experience just a little bit more of a notch. Make sure it's a good children's card game your guys are playing.
So I got one more left in my little barrel of cheats. This doesn't affect Commander really. It kind of can, and it's going to be the sideboard, extra deck, whatever you want to call it. Again, Commander doesn't have a sideboard, but we do have tokens, and people will sometimes have tokens and have them in sleeves the same color as the deck, and they'll put a normal card in that stack of tokens. So when they're playing, they can kind of shift those cards in and out of their deck.
Oh, the classic
switcheroo. So when someone has a stack of tokens, just ask, like, hey, what tokens you got? And then they're like, oh, they're just for the... Let me see them since they're in sleeves of the same color. So that way you can look and see, oh, you have a normal card in there you were trying to cheat. And they're like, oh, no, it's part of the deck. I'm like, okay, let me count the deck now.
Oh, here's many ways again, yeah.
Yeah, because I have caught people that have that. Oh, it's part of my deck. It just got stuck in with the tokens. And they'll put it in their deck. I'm like, let me count your decks. I bet it's over 99 now. And it will be. It'll be like 100, 102 now all of a sudden. Because that wasn't meant to be in their deck yet. It was only meant to be exchanged out.
But actually, since their cards are in the same sleeve, they can actually take some cards off of their deck to actually make it short so they can actually get the cards they need. Two as well,
yeah,
right?
But they can do that, but it's not as beneficial because it's 99 cards. That'd be beneficial more in Standard. And that's what I'm saying. This happens more in Standard. Is in the extra deck, they'll have their extra deck in a box, with the tokens,
Okay.
so it's not easy to see. So you ask, or if you're not allowed to ask, have a judge check.
Okay.
Because the problem is, and this happens so much, is there's either too many extras in their extra deck, or they're putting it in there and then all of a sudden they put it on the field, so now it's accessible to switch. This is why personally I do not like the rule that rule or what people do depending upon where you're playing. What the rule is having extra deck cards in the sleeves that you're already playing with, because it's supposed to make it easier to switch out between magic and stuff. But the problem is that also makes it easier to cheat, and we're trying to reduce cheating. The best way is they have to be in separate, different color sleeves, or no sleeves at all. So then it's really obvious, because they got to now play a card that has no sleeves all of a sudden in a deck that has all sleeves, or they have to sit there and switch sleeves out in front of you to cheat.
That has to be pretty. That has to be the lowest cheat if they actually try to do that right fucking in front of you.
And if they can get away with it, man, they got some talent there. That's some.
Well, that's a whole new type of level of drunk. He's like, "What are you doing?" "Oh, just doing this, switching sleeves." "Oh, okay, you can do that." Like the fuck, I've never been that drunk.
But that's one thing I have seen. I've seen it happen several times in Standard, where someone's had it in a box, and all of a sudden they put all their tokens and stuff because they had access to a token, and so then all of a sudden their whole extra deck, their commander, I mean not commander, there's no commander in Standard, but their extra deck and their tokens all of a sudden end up on board, and their deck is now right next to those. And so during the game, you'll see them kind of like mess around, and it makes it easy to just go, whoop, slip a card in that they know they need to search, which normally in most decks they don't need to worry about having that card in the deck. But this one, now having that card will let them counteract that other deck. It doesn't happen very often, but I have caught a couple of times, so it's extremely rare. But I have caught because...
But it does happen.
Yeah, and I've never caught it in Commander to my realization. I've seen people try it at the beginning of the game, and I've called them out. But during game, I've only seen it happening in Standard.
Huh, okay. Because I'm about to say, almost never in Commander.
Yeah, Commander, it's a little bit harder.
It's tricky, but
because
it can
of
be
the
pulled off.
Yeah, well, because it's the 99 cards, so yeah, you get to add it, but you're going to have to add it at a specific time you're about to search it. So...
Oh, okay. I see what you're
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
with that one.
If you're like, oh, and the thing is, it's also kind of hard to pick a card that can affect a board, the whole board, everybody on the field, that you want to have a card to cheat out with like that.
Sorry, Fly. Oh, I got one of those cards. Everybody hates that I play it.
But yeah, I think that covers. Can you think of any other cheaties?
Sleight of hand. Make sure they have short sleeves, not long sleeves.
Say poker.
No, man, I was thinking about that fucking episode of fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! And shit. They kept fucking got the little red glove, like, ha ha! That type of shit. But then it goes to the bend. They just bent their own fucking card for no reason.
Yeah.
But I don't think I got anything right now, man. I really don't. See, that's what happens when I'm fucking sober.
We have a good video for y'all when you're sober. Oh, freaking ant.
Why? What did we say that?
Got bit by an ant.
I
That's
don't know.
why
I have no shenanigans, man. I got nothing like just go whoo and ha.
You know what? On that, don't forget to like, subscribe,
Comment. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Patreon, and YouTube.
Yes, don't forget that YouTube.
Oh,
They will
yeah.
come after us. They will shake us. So will Facebook. I mean, they're pretty.
Yeah, we're kind of cool with it.
Yeah, don't hurt us, Facebook. We don't like jail.
We love you.
Da, 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 da.
Adios, guys.
I'm not going underneath this time.
You know, for once, I actually drew a good hand. That's why I kept fucking with this hand. I was like, oh my god, I couldn't use this in gameplay. Never happened with this deck.
Really?
Never happened.
Why? What?
It's just
That good,
I love
huh?
it, but it's jinxed.